Okay, here's a Filippi double, and this thing has been back here a second time now for this. And right from the get-go, I knew there was a problem with this boat the first time that we did it. So this is directly underneath the bow seat foot stretcher, and you can see if you really look at it, because I guess the resolution is pretty good, how thick that filler is. And that's originally what was there, and that's what the original cracks that we saw, there was two small cracks side by side, and they definitely coincide with the carbon channel that the center keel for the foot stretcher sits on. So I knew there was something like not kosher with that, but now this keeps coming back. And unfortunately, the customer, this happened over the summer, and then it's now November. We just found out about it now. So onto the inside of the boat here now. What I did was I released the nuts or the cams that hold the foot stretcher down. So it's tight at the keel, and you can see now by just pressing on the foot stretcher, especially over there on the port side. That's a lot of play. That's a lot of play. So I'm assuming that what's going on is that once these are cranked down, that something's got to give, and what gives is the bottom of the boat. Okay, so where the end of that carbon channel is exactly where the filler on the bottom of the boat is cracking from movement. So I'm not sure what we're going to do. Definitely going to readjust the foot stretchers, reset them, which is no easy feat because they're all pre-drilled and there's really no wiggle room in there, but we're going to make it happen. And then going to have to talk to the customer and see what he wants to do, because there's a lot of filler on the bottom of the boat, and that was there originally, and that was from the boat when it was made. And if you put more filler in it, it's probably going to continue to happen. And the other thing is that if I were to actually go onto the hull and sand out all that filler, something tells me there'll be a huge divot in there, and I'll open up a can of worms like nobody's business. But customer's gonna have to decide what we're gonna do on this one. Okay, so here's the foot stretchers for the bow seat, and I can tell you without even measuring it that, and if you look at it, you can see the crossbar is crooked. You can look at the extreme right and left where the two big Phillips head screws are, and you can see that they're not perpendicular to the tube. So I gotta tell you, to reposition those two clamps and hit it dead on after the boat is built already is a real pain in the ass, to say the least. However, we got to come up with something to try and fix this. So one thing I omitted to tell you, and because you were in a hurry, and speaking to Sean here now, when you guys dropped the boat off on when I met you there and you loaded it up, right after you walked away, I noticed that water was dripping out, and it was dripping out actually from the tracks here. And so you open up the inspection port, and if you move the boat side to side here, I don't know if it's going to show up, but there's a lot of water in this one. And now we've removed the foot stretcher in this guy here. And then even this one here, I mean, that's how much water. You can see the water flopping around in there. So you really need to be opening these decks up and airing the boats out, because they're trying to have this visa flotation thing, which doesn't make sense to me, how water can get in when it's supposed to not get in, so the boat will float. But what do I know?